Hey, welcome back to our channel. In this video, I thought I'd take a look back at these Hammond Collection figures of 2025. We picked up most of these figures in 2025, except for Scutosaurus, which arrived in December 2024. Here in the UK, we have the sourced Hammond Collection figures from various online retailers, mainly Amazon, as no stores stock them, making these figures difficult to get at times. But a few independent stores started to stock them, like Rexy Reviews, In Demand Toys, and Zavvi. Announced in 2024, we had Scutosaurus, Juvenile Triceratops, Allosaurus, and a Velociraptor Ghost. And in some countries, these figures were all available in 2024. But 3 of these figures weren't available here in the UK until 2025. Triceratops and Allosaurus arrived in January, but a Velociraptor Ghost didn't arrive until March. Here we have Scutosaurus. The detailing across the figure looks awesome. Texturing across the figure is rough to the touch. We have muscular limbs and a short stubby tail. The head sculpt is covered in fine scale detailing, as well as loads of scutes and osteoderms. The glass eyes look great, even with the wrong style of pupils, as Scutosaurus was a herbivore. As a nicely articulated jaw with some great detailing, I especially like the large horns here on the lower jaw. We have a simple paint scheme of a mixture of various green tones. Here we have the young Triceratops. The original novel actually featured a juvenile, which Lex named Ralph. The figure is covered with some fine scale detailing, and the jaw is articulated. The beak, horns, and hornlets all feature some great texturing. We have tiny pebbly looking scales over the head and frill. And the body has a mixture of skin folds, wrinkles, and scale texturing. There are a couple of colour variations released. We have the grey version, and the other release had more of a green tone. Here we have Allosaurus. It was first seen in Fallen Kingdom, but these were only juveniles. Its next green outing was in the short film Battle at Big Rock. And I gotta say, it's a great looking figure in the Hammond Collection theme. The head sculpt looks great, with some bumpy scale detailing and some scarring. The distinctive ridges above the eyes are nicely sculpted. The legs are very muscular, with some great detailing. The arms and hands are proportioned really well. Colour scheme looks pretty good. It's a mixture of this greyish blue and tan. And finally in this wave, we have a Velociraptor Ghost. Velociraptors made their debut in Jurassic World Dominion, and then they had recurring roles in Chaos Theory. The head sculpt looks great, especially with these creepy red eyes. The detailing around the head certainly sets them apart from the Velociraptors. We have some fine scale detailing across the figure with small osteoderms scattered across the body. Mattel have improved the tails, now they can actually be removed. The next wave of Hammond Collection figures has the long-awaited Spinosaurus, along with Stegosaurus, Stygimoloch, Velociraptor Tiger, and Troodon. Here we have the long-awaited Spinosaurus as part of the Hammond Collection, and it's been one of the most requested dinosaurs for this theme. And with the TrueFX branding, we get this gorgeous looking figure. The figure has an incredible sculpt with some awesome looking skin texturing and scale detailing. Here we have the glass eyes, which I personally think are the best looking eyes on a Hammond Collection figure. The colour scheme looks great across the figure and very accurate, but the blue on the sail could have been a little darker. Spinosaurus comes with 19 points of articulation, and they all move really well. One of the main highlights of this figure for me is the head sculpt, with this awesome sculpting, great paint scheme, nicely articulated jaw, and all his teeth. For me, the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus is one of the highlights of the Jurassic franchise. And it's about time that Mattel finally released this Hammond Collection version of Spinosaurus. Next up, we have the Hammond Collection Stegosaurus. It was missing from the original Jurassic Park movie, but they made their appearance in The Lost World. Previously, we had a juvenile Stegosaurus released in 2023, and now we finally have its adult counterpart. This figure is nice and large, and easily one of the largest herbivores after Brachiosaurus in the Hammond Collection theme. And again, with the TrueFX branding, we get this great looking figure. The head sculpt looks cool, it's well textured, and the glass eyes look great. We have the Stegosaurus iconic plate running down its neck, along its back, down to its tail. We have a nice leathery skin texture, and the colour scheme looks great across the figure. It has 15 points of articulation, but we have no jaw articulation. Next we have the latest Hammond Collection Velociraptor. This is now the 6th raptor released under the Hammond Collection theme. The raptors from the Lost World had a unique tiger-like design. The head sculpt and glass eyes look great. We have a new sculpt for this raptor. The detailing across the figure isn't bad with its TrueFX branding. A lot of these recent raptor releases have had a quality issue with their lower jaw sticking out, giving it an underbite. The figure features 14 points of articulation. The texturing across the figure isn't bad. The paint apps look great and is one of the best looking Lost World raptors. Next up in this wave we have Troodon. This species was introduced in the 2011 video game Jurassic Park the Game. The glass eyes look great. They have a white background with pale pupils. The sculpt is nicely detailed with some pebbly texturing across the figure. There is a large crest of feathery quills on top of its head and some along its back. The paint apps look great, especially this dark speckling across the figure. I'm loving this figure's glass eyes, giving them this glowing effect, but you could be mistaken that it was blind. All round is an interesting addition to the Hammond Collection. And finally in this wave, we have Stygimoloch. We have had many releases over the years, but this latest Stigi is based on its Fallen Kingdom appearance. The head is covered in horns and hornlets around the characteristic dome. And for a small figure, it actually comes with an articulated beak. The paint apps around the head look great, and we have this dark brown looking glass eye. I gotta say the figure has an awesome looking sculpt with some great texturing across it. The reddish brown colour scheme looks great, along with the darker brown markings. For a small figure, I think Mattel have done a great job on this Stigi. Here we have the most recently released Hammond Collection figures. These figures no longer have glass eyes, as Mattel have reverted back to painted eyes. And I felt the glass eyes gave the figures that premium look. But now the figures come with swapable parts. Here we have the largest figure in this wave, Spinosaurus. Comes with a damaged horn and an open lower jaw. These can be swapped for an undamaged horn and closed mouth. Next up we have Dryosaurus, who is a brand new species. His feature is a changeable lower jaw, so you can have it with an open or closed mouth. Next up in this wave we have Ornitholestes, and the accessories for this figure are changeable hands. And finally in this wave we have Mosasaurus. Out of the box his front limbs have feet, but you're able to swap these for hands, giving this figure a very different posture. Basically giving this figure two very different looks. I gotta say it's been an awesome year for the Hammond Collection. Mattel finally listened to their customers and released the Spinosaurus. We had many cool figures across the year. I'm not too keen that Mattel dropped the glass eyes on the most recent releases. I would like to thank everyone for checking our videos out. See you next year.